Hello, 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 debt-free degree beloveds. This is one of my favorite series to do, Pontification with a Pro. And y'all, I have a pro here that I cannot wait to introduce you to. His name is Randy Brown. And if you bring up a subject, then Randy is gonna know something about it, has already done it, has already thought about it, like the way that this man's mind works, and particularly the way that he forms connections and interconnections. And I am so delighted and so honored that he said yes to an interview. So, with that, Randy Brown, welcome to Debt Free Degree, and let's dive in.
I'm excited to be here, Dr. Roz. We have not known each other for more than a few weeks, but it's been fast and furious, and I love what you do, and your energy is infectious. It's unbelievable,
Thank you.
and I've been looking forward to sharing some things with you here today. Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes. Well, I feel the very, very same about you. So let's dive in. I want you to, share with folks a bit about your background, particularly as it is in, in terms of higher ed, and also just your ideas in terms of through the lens of perhaps debt-free degree. Because I know I could interview you for 3 days
Yeah.
on just your career. So,
Yes. Yeah. So, for your first question, I was very fortunate as a youngster. I had three siblings, but my father was a sports writer at a paper in Northwest Iowa, who was also the outdoor editor. So we grew up in gymnasiums and in fishing boats. Now you can't beat that.
right.
So so I by nature of that youth that I was gifted, I created a real respect for school administrators, teachers, coaches, officials, and people of the sort, just because that's what I saw and that's what I was taught as a youngster growing up. And I was 8 years old when that I decided to ask my dad a question about the high school coach, because I was at their high school basketball practice that day as an 8 year old and watched, and I was blown away by how uh, the coach had such control over these big high school basketball players.
Uh-huh.
And I asked him, I said, Coach Huseman, Dutch Huseman was his name, who was one of my mentors and one of really the main reason I became a coach. And I asked him, I said, now, did Coach Huseman play basketball when he was young? Yeah, he played basketball. He's a very good basketball player. And now he coaches the team. And I said, what does he do for a job? Like, what's his job? Like, I didn't get it all, you know. And he goes,
Right.
he's the coach. And the light bulb went off, and I go, as much as I love, as an 8 year old can articulate this, as much as I love basketball, you mean I can be a coach and they'll pay me and it'll be my job? And at eight, I think that seed was planted
Yes.
to where that's something I wanted to do. I became so I went to college, became a high school teacher and a high school coach. I was JV boys varsity basketball coach.
Uh,
But I had a goal and I had a dream. I didn't know how to do it, but I was young and and innocent enough to create these major goals for myself in
yes.
coaching, because I didn't know any different. I didn't know how to do it. I just knew I wanted to become a college basketball coach.
Hmm.
I had been in arenas. I got the bug. I went to school at the University of Iowa, tremendous program, and really got the bug. And so I created a way through connecting with other people who knew other people who knew other people
Hmm. Hmm.
to present myself as someone who really wanted to become a collegiate coach. And it happened. And it happened. And it worked out. And my first job was as a graduate assistant at the University of Arizona, which our coach took over from a very meager beginnings. There was a program nobody wanted, and he took it, and he knew that he could turn it into a national power, and they became a national power.
Yes.
Um, So that's how I started and got involved in college basketball. I had an unbelievable 20-year career, became assistant coach, became a head coach, and came about that far from being able to coach in the Final Four. And as a 20-year-old, those were my three goals I set for myself. And I pursued them doggedly
Yes.
and almost accomplished all three, but did the first two. And I loved every day of those 20 years.
Yes.
And so now what's kind of cool is now I've created a program where I can teach other young students
Uh-huh.
and young aspiring basketball coaches how to ascend and work their way up within their career,
Yes.
not because of their virtues and what they think of themselves, but by what other people in concert with connections are making with influencers in their industry,
Yes.
have those people go to bat and do the what I call the heavy lifting.
Yes.
And people
Yes.
think I'm kidding when I say this. I went into an interview and and I had done such a good job of having the right people talk to the fella, the head coach who was going to hire. When I went in for the interview, he goes, "What are you doing here?" He goes, "What the gall you have, the courage you have to come in here and even show up for this interview." And I didn't know. I'm like, "Well, coach, I was supposed to be here at 10 o'clock." I didn't quite get what he was saying. What
Yeah.
he was saying was I already had the job.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
So it's been cool. And to share that with young people,
Yes.
whether they're in athletic coaching or not, it can be any job, any
Yes.
profession, is really, really a thrill for me because
Yes.
I'm able to pass on what I learned to as many young people as possible. And I love it. I love it.
It is evident, Randy. It is so evident. I want our audience to get to not miss this because I really want to land here and spend just a minute or two here. That just by virtue of your dad's profession, you had access to some folks, and every one of us through our lives, we have access to folks. So it may not be that every single person at 8 years old has this lightning bolt moment. Okay, this is
Right.
what I want to do. However, your story means that you learn to leverage the opportunities you were given and
Yes.
then not only leverage them, but build upon them and and that is a skill. And so I wonder if you would kind of spend some time there because people might not understand how these nuggets how they all fit together. And
Yes.
sometimes it takes somebody else with a perspective to say, "Hey, you think that that job at, the grocery store or the job if you're working in higher ed and you're a student worker somewhere, you think you're just, filing papers, but that's not what you're doing. And if you learn to leverage all of those opportunities, how those can pay off. So, can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yes, I sure can. I try so hard to convince people that by their own efforts, they're not going to be very successful, even getting the interview. If they get the interview, of getting the job,
Mm,
because this is not there are very few employers, decision makers, who want to sit and listen to someone for 35 minutes talk about
mhm,
themselves and what they've done and what they can do.
mhm,
Now, all of a sudden, the phone call comes in from someone who's revered in this industry to say, "You've got a young man or a young lady coming in to interview. Let
mhm,
me tell you about my relationship with them and the reason I believe that they would be a tremendous benefit to your." I don't even have to finish my sentence.
mhm,
It's okay. So unbelievable, right? I mean, what the weight that can carry. So so I'm gonna back up a little bit. So I've been on college campuses my whole life by virtue of being a college basketball coach. And I have this thing in the coffee. I call it the coffee line. Um, I'm in the coffee line, and there's students in the coffee line, and I just love having conversation with them. And I'll say, "Hey, where are you at in school? Are you excited about being done? What's your major?" Ask those kind of questions. And I can't tell you how many hundreds of times the answer has been, I just graduated in the spring. I'm looking for a job in my field, my degree, and I've applied a couple times. I'm just waiting to hear back.
Mm,
And I said, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you're not going to hear back.
hmm.
And could I share with you, okay, a strategy you can use so that you will get hired real soon?
Yes.
And I tried to explain to them that they're trying to do it on their own virtues
Right.
by their own efforts.
Right.
And it pains me, Dr. Roz, that that young people and their parents and and those that love them are willing to outlay unbelievable amounts of resources to have them go to college, yet
Yes.
stand in the coffee line 4 years plus the time they entered, and they don't have a job.
Yeah.
Now, I think this, I think this, and I could say very confidently that by working with someone and teaching them how to align with these people who can really help you do the heavy lifting, by the time you're a junior, you can have a job.
Hmm.
You can take your last year and enjoy yourself and study like crazy and get ready for that job.
Hmm.
There is no reason that shouldn't happen.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it like I say, it really hurts me to see those young people knowing the debt they've incurred and they
Right.
still don't have a job after 4 years.
Right.
So much for the piece of paper. It's not the piece of paper. So always leave them with one thing, Dr. Roz, and I'm telling you, it almost knocks them off their feet when they really understand the gravity of this statement. We've all been told it's not what we know. They've told us it's who we know.
That's right.
And I think that is absolutely, I heard that too, and I bought it. Okay.
Mhm.
I don't believe in it at all. And I'll tell you why. You'll understand in a second. I don't believe that who we know or who we think we know has a lot of gravity. I think it all gets down to who knows you.
Mm,
And that shift right there will
yes.
make all the difference in the world. And you know, the Kevin Bacon 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, right? Remember when that all started? We're six
Mhm.
degrees connected to everybody in the world, or everybody. His was everybody in entertainment and Hollywood and that deal. I think it's down to about 2.5 degrees now.
Wow.
I really do. I really do.
Wow.
So I'll give you an example. I'll give you a quick example. So when I talk to my young college basketball aspiring coaches, I tell them a little bit about my background, and I'll say, "Did you watch Olympic basketball in 2024?" Yes. Who is our coach? Our coach was Steve Kerr, the head coach of the Golden State Warriors. That was our head coach. I said, "That's very good. Nice job. Do you realize you're 2 degrees related to Steve Kerr?" And they about fall over. I coached Steve Kerr in college.
Wow.
So my 1 degree
Wow.
becomes their 2 degree through me. They
Wow.
jump to me for one and two to Steve Kerr. And I say, now that's cool. You can go home and tell your parents you're 2 degrees from Steve Kerr. That still doesn't get you a job. It still doesn't move the needle at all. But you now have the opportunity through me, I'm the
Right.
conduit to connect to Steve and
Right.
begin to build a relationship. That
Right.
relationship could carry the day for the rest of his career. That one coach, that one person.
That's right.
So I work a lot in degrees and how we're connected.
Wow.
And there's nothing wrong with a 4 degree connection. That can still be, that relationship can be nurtured just like a 1 or 2 degree relationship. It really can be.
Mm-hmm.
It's powerful stuff.
It is so fascinating to me. And seriously, I could listen to you for days. I find you so engaging and so willing to help this next generation.
Mhm.
And there are a lot of people out there who say they want to help, but oftentimes that help has a lot of strings to it. There's a lot of convoluted stuff that goes underneath. And I think overall, as higher education professionals, we've not done a great job at building something that can be sustainable in higher ed
Yes.
because there are probably hundreds of thousands of recent graduates who are underemployed. And
Yes.
so
Yes.
the higher ed system, they are doing a disservice perhaps, or the students who are getting the knowledge but aren't thirsty enough, aren't taking initiative enough to go, okay, I didn't get this degree so I could work at the coffee place. I got this degree because I want to do this, this, and this. And somehow, some way, I need, right now we have 30 million middle schoolers and high schoolers in the nation. So I want to reach them for debt-free degree. And then somehow that'll be our 2 degrees, Randy, right there.
Right.
I want to reach the 30
Yeah.
million. And then
Right.
through me, all 30 million need to come to you and say, now, how am I going to be productive? Because
Right.
how do you, and I know our time is so short, how do you, what do you say to somebody that says, like, my mind is blown? What's my first step?
That's a really cool question. Here's my answer. I would say within your industry, whatever it is, let's say they have a degree in marketing. Okay.
Hmm.
Who are the marketing gurus? Who are the people either locally in your state or nationally, okay, who you consider somebody that you would have some trepidation over coming up to and introducing yourself. You might be a little intimidated and
Hmm.
to introduce yourself and meet that person. I
Hmm.
said, there's your list right there.
Okay.
And that's where we start.
Okay.
Now, I'm gonna drop the magic bullet right here. Okay.
I
This is
didn't know if
how
you would tell it or not. I'm so grateful.
this is how it happens though. This how and I learned this from my parents. My parents were prolific handwriters. They
Mm-hmm.
expressed themselves through the written word, the handwritten word. Okay. So how do you, let's say, how do you reach someone like I indicated that is an influencer you'd be embarrassed or intimidated to meet and shake their hand? Okay, I know this for sure. And the most recent stat I heard was we get on average over 100. I think the number was 126 or 134 emails a day between
Wow.
junk emails and regular emails. a
Wow.
day, a day. So take that times 365, whatever that number is,
Right.
and we'll just say, okay, big number over here.
Yeah.
The average American household receives in 12 months, in a year, 10 handwritten notes.
Wow.
If there was ever a time, young people, to capitalize on learning a new skill, the
Hmm.
skill I teach is the art of the handwritten note.
Wow.
Why? Because there's never been one written, Dr. Roz, that hasn't been opened.
That's right. Yes, that is
The
exactly right.
curiosity
Right.
level is off the chart.
Hmm.
Now, the key is plus the other feature is it's going to reach them where they at their desk or at their home or at their office or where they work. It's going to. It's going to land. It has to. If
Hmm.
you have the right address, it's got to land and then they're going to open it.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. The real magic though happens when they open it because of what's inside. And I have created a system, a 5-step system of what we write. It's got to be purposeful. Okay. It has to have the spirit of Zig Ziglar's help enough other people get what they
Yes.
want
Yes.
and you'll get everything you wanted. We
Yeah.
don't write to ask for. We write to give value to
Yes.
because at the end of this handwritten note, when some influencer has read that out of the blue, say, who is this young person? That
Yeah.
is a fantastic. They took the time and
Yes.
the ingenuity
Yes.
and the creativeness to write this note to me.
Yes.
Fantastic. Look at this. And then everything that's in it, which I won't go into,
Right.
but that's where the real fun stuff is.
Yes.
That will land. It'll make a huge impact. You tell me any other way from a student in Los Angeles to an influencer in New York, how you could make that kind of impact.
Right.
You can't do it.
Right.
What are you going to do? Fly drones over their office building? I mean,
Right.
what? How would you do it?
Right.
You can't. It'll
Yeah.
cost 72 cents,
Yeah.
and you can change your career. It's
Yeah.
it's
Exactly.
I've helped so many young people, and um, I keep a lot of statistics with what I do, and there's a high likelihood that someone who doesn't stick with their handwriting program that I set them up with won't have the success that others will.
Yeah,
Those that stick with it, it's it's like off the charts good how
yeah,
powerful it is.
yeah. That's amazing.
That's how you get the interview, and that's how when you get the interview, you have a great chance of getting the job because the other part of this is those that you build these relationships with, these influencers, which is all based on integrity, genuineness, and trust.
Mm,
When you ask them, would you please make a quick 5 minute call for me to this athletic director at this school?
hmm.
They will never say no if
Right.
you've built a relationship right.
Exactly.
And that phone call sets you up for the interview. And
Yes.
now I've circled back to where I started when I walked into that interview, and the coach said, "What are you doing here?"
Yeah. I love it.
So
I love it. I love it. I
yeah,
love it.
it's
So
so
if
cool.
folks want to get in touch with you, what's the best way?
The best way, honestly, is very directly through my email. I live on that email address. It's my initials. My name is Randy Brown. My initials are RB at COACHRB.com.
Excellent. Excellent.
And,
Excellent.
and, and my website is coachrb.com, but a
Okay.
direct email is wonderful. And
Okay.
then I can help with resources. We can set up a call.
Okay.
Would love to help. I just love it. It's magic.
Yeah. Yeah. You are magical and time with you is magical. And so
Well, thank you.
thank you, Randy, for your
Thank
time
you.
and thank you for your passion for young people. Thank you for really illustrating such a keen way. I use the grit blueprint in Debt Free Degree, and the I is interconnection. And
Yeah. There you go.
from here forward, I will forever promote you when I'm doing webinars and talking about the I will forever mention
Yeah.
you because what a powerful, powerful story.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the Debt Free Degree community. I appreciate you, Randy, for being a part of Pontification with the Pro. And this is our interview for today, and we'll be back next time with another phenomenal guest. Thanks, y'all.
Awesome. Thank you.